Good Friday morning to all of you. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful PD day so far. Today is our last day, essentially, to work on some PD involving the new science curriculum that we've had this year. So I would like to kind of go through step by step what's in this slideshow, just so you have an idea of what we're doing today. We'll start out, and as you can see, this is kind of like I call it the table of contents. I should actually change that title. Probably be different when you look at it next week. Here's the 6 things that we're going to quickly go through. Honestly, the order that you decide to do them in, totally up to you. I know that in a couple of cases, you may, like the links in Brightspace, you'll see you may get there, and then you may not be able to complete step number 3. So if you want to jump to 4, 5, 6, if you want to jump around, that's fine. But I just hope that we can get all 6 done today, this morning. Okay, so the amount of time that we put there, we'll get some to look at what resources have been added for science, some to get some recommendations or feedback that will really help with the sharing and organization of our resources so that next year, hopefully you feel really prepared to take on science. And as I just mentioned, you don't need to do them in any order. And as you'll see in the corners, I just put a little link back to the table of contents, and I think it is in all the following slides. Okay, obviously you found the video. Here you are watching it. So the links in Brightspace, the first thing that we're going to be taking a look at is we have had these 4 classes created, and that's RDPSD, kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, or grade 3. Now, at some point in the last week, you should have maybe seen it if you're on Brightspace on a daily basis. You should have seen these classes added as one of your classes. You have the role as a teacher within those classes, so it should appear as one of your classes. If you don't at this point, do one of 2 things. The first thing, if you don't have that in your Brightspace right now, is let's go to the next slide, and you should be able to click on one of these 4 images. Now, all 4 of those images are links to each of those classes. And so by clicking on one of those links, whichever one you need to join, you should be able to add it. Now, if you have any trouble with that, you can take, they're the exact same link, the link at the bottom of the page here, or the link at the bottom of the page here, and that's going to take you to a Google form, basically requesting that you be added to that Brightspace class. And so I'm going to be adamantly watching the feedback from that Google form all morning this morning. I will do my best that once you fill in that that Google form by taking the link, that you will have access to the class within a matter of 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to be really conscientious about watching the feedback from that form this morning. So when you take one of these links, and just maybe because it's first, I'll take kindergarten. What we should see is clicking on kindergarten. As you can see here, I'm going to log into Brightspace as I normally would. Okay, and we're here in kindergarten. And then if we come back to the next slide, it'll actually show you what we need to do here. And so as you can see, I'm not going to keep jumping back and forth, but we're in kindergarten. We're going to click on content, and then under Science K, we're going to take a look at the curriculum documents science. So I'm just going to jump out of there for a second. Content, and then being a teacher, you will see these hidden components. I know that in the future it is planned that some of those will be in Brightspace as well. As you know, I'm the science specialist, so I don't know exactly what the timeline on that is. But let's just worry about science here. So you should be able to click on Science K, and you should be able to see this curriculum documents. When we click here, and we click on this document, which is has the same title regardless of what grade you're in, the RDPSD 2023 Science K-6 Curricular Collaboration by Grade. Long title. When you click here, what we should see is a spreadsheet that has all of these links, okay? Such as you can see in the matter for kindergarten, when we're wanting to look at some of these different factors. Here are the slides. Now, I'll be totally honest, the linking to Canva slides does not work to the specific slide, it just works to the Canva presentation itself. But when we look at, for example, some of the workbook links, those are going to the PDF, right? Again, it just directs you to the PDF, but now you know which pages to look at. The only one that does specifically link to the page are the activity guide links. Okay? And then when we go across to the book links, the video links, and the website links, I have not put in the individual books or the individual websites. Those will direct you to all of those links that we have on a website. I'm going to get to that a little bit later. Okay, so you should be able to look at this here. When we have, if you can successfully log into that, wonderful. In which case we can, just let me get back to, if all of that's working out, you have that spreadsheet there, wonderful. Let's continue. And so just like I was showing you, you will have access to the slideshow for the unit, a workbook for the unit, and an activity guide for the unit. Now those are honestly, and this again comes from your feedback. I enjoy listening to all of your feedback and I love getting feedback. Really a good number of teachers, not just a lot of teachers have given me the feedback that, you know, from most important to least important, when we really look at these three pieces, this is the order of their importance and the amount that they're used in class. So, I mean, I can tell you right now, even though, for example, the slideshow and workbooks for Earth Systems are completed, I'm actually moving on. I've started working on the slideshows for Living Systems, and I will complete those before I complete the activity guide for Earth Systems. So I guess what I'm getting at is I am listening to your prioritization. Another high prioritization that I've heard from you that, again, is number one down here. And so once again, kind of has priority, which you'll be able to see as you look around the units as to what is completed and what isn't completed. This is essentially the order that you said that these are important, and that's the books, and then the videos, and then the websites. So as you'll see, for example, in Earth Systems right now, Earth Systems has books completed, videos. Now I'm recording this video a week ahead of time, but videos at this time are about half finished. They might be finished by next Friday. But websites, for example, I may continue to work on Living Systems, where I'm working on the slideshows right now, before I really come back and complete the websites there. So those are the hierarchy of importance. And I've heard that again and again from many of you. And this is where I really enjoy feedback. Okay, feedback is so important to me. Just one small segue. I didn't even put this in the table of contents. Maybe I should. I just realized. At your request, a number of people were saying, well, hey, in order to get to the RDPSD science resources, I'm always needing to log into Google, which that one isn't too tricky, but sometimes people have to go through the actual, like the waffle and then down to the sites. So bottom line is this. Here's the shortest address that I thought would be easy to remember, and that's tinyurl.com and then RDPSD science. Okay. You can see it there. So if you're ever needing to get there and you're not logged into Google, you're not logged into Brightspace, there's the about the shortest URL I could get us. Okay. All right. Let's move along to number 4 now. This is the part when I wish I could say, are there any questions? And of course, if there are any questions, don't hesitate to email me today. All right. Let's move along to New Learn Alberta. So when we take a look here at New Learn Alberta, I'll admit, sometimes, you know, we're going through lots of different websites, and I hope you don't feel overwhelmed. But the New Learn Alberta site is one that some people I know have yet to check out. I've asked people, and sometimes, you know, have never had a chance to look at it. Well, this is what these types of Fridays are for. So what I hope you can do today is just take a glance at what is on there. Even though, you know, at the beginning of the school year, there wasn't very much, they've been adding more and more and more as the year goes on. I honestly set like one day a week that I usually glance at it. In my case, it's Wednesdays. You may just want to bookmark it, like once you've gone into here, and just take a look, not even once a week, maybe once every other week, because they're slowly adding materials. So let's just quickly walk through, and you may want to skip over this part of the video. It's probably going to be about another 90 seconds. If you have no difficulty logging in to the New Learn Alberta, you've done it. This part of the video is honestly for everybody if you have not. Here is the URL right down here. Okay, I think it's easiest. I'm just going to open another window, and I have the next 3 slides as the 9. Well, it's actually 7 steps to get logged in, and then steps 8 and 9 are some of the resources that would be a great idea for you to take a look at. So let's just get started here into how we log in. So I click on my URL there, and then what I would like us to do today is take a look at Explore Resources. If you want to take a look at anything else on here, you know, there are many other pieces you can take a look at, but for today's use of time, because I know our time is precious, let's go Explore Resources. Now you'll see we come here. Now I can continue looking at some resources, but just so I don't have to worry about any restrictions at this point, let's go up here to log in. All right. When we log in, we're going to log into my account. Even though you certainly work at a school, we're logging in through my account. So we click here. Now, of course, our platform is Google. So we're going to go with Google. And now I choose my account. Hopefully you just have yourself come up. And in my case, here we are. I'm going to just quickly get a text sent because I always find those just a little bit quicker. So this is, of course, the piece that I'm going to have to maybe edit out. We'll see how long it takes. Oh, it didn't take long at all. Okay, so yikes, everybody will know the code I used. Anyway, now we come in here, and within here, you will hopefully see your school. And when you have your school, we click there, use this staff account. And then here we are. And as you can see, now there's a number of things in the slides that you are free to go through. You'll see that I point out 2 key areas. And the first one is this default area that's on the left, just titled Explore Resources. But what we can really do, and I know that you teach other courses than science, so feel free to take a look around some of your other courses. But this morning, of course, we're working on how we're doing in our K-3 science. So again, me just imagining that I was in kindergarten already. Now I'll pretend I'm in grade 1. So I might say I am needing my grade 1 science, okay? And here are some of my materials that I have now. And then if I want, I can also, so here's all of my resources from all sorts of different places. But at the very top, you'll see that there's resource collection. So as an example, I might say, oh, okay, well, actually, I want to go into Bookflix. And as you can see here, grades, I have 1 selected and subject 1 selected. So it still has me as a Science 1 teacher. And now within those, I have accessed the 36 results of these books that are pertinent to the Science 1 curriculum in one way or another. Okay. And the one other thing that I just made mention of, I'll just leave you to start exploring. I'll give you some time. Take a look through this. Take a look of it. Literally, the verb is explore, right? So the other thing that I do want to make mention of, just that, and I'll mention I've explored it a bit. I've spent a couple hours on it, and there are some good resources here. Is on the left side, if we come down to the boards, and we'll see. I might attempt to create my own board. I haven't done it yet, but it's one of those things that it is an interesting idea. So again, since we were Science 1 up there, I'll stay in Science 1. If I click on my grade and then my subject, okay, what I will have is, as you can see, it gives me 14 results. So those 14 results are these boards. And you can see in this case, a lot of them, the first couple coming from places like ARPDC, okay? And so maybe I just want to take a look at one of these and go, okay, what do we have? Well, I have the ARPDC Science Grade 1 Integrating Matter. So there's both matter and scientific methods for grade 1. And these are their resources there. And so as you can see, when we come in here, I'm then given a link that gives me a session slide deck. Okay. And that's something for you just to work through. So I wish I could ask if there are questions. If you're going through this and you have some questions, please do not hesitate to email me. Okay. All right. Now I know that login procedure, as you can see, I put it here. It only, as you see, it only actually getting logged in, or I guess, are the first 6 steps, and then steps 7, 8, 9 are talking about the website there. Okay. Now I want to move along the next piece here. I believe it is number 5 on your list there. Updates on external resources. Now, if you go back and you take a look on the newsletters that I send you on Fridays, the newsletter on March 22nd, the actual contents of it were the external resources on science. Now, this picture right here is a link, so to save you going through your email box and finding it, or in case you have a filter set up so it doesn't even go to your inbox, here's how you can get to it. So just click on here, and what you will be taken to is this copy of the Friday at 5:55. So what you can do in here is you can actually see a collection. Even though because this is circulated outside of to some people outside our own division, I did include our own website, but then the Edmonton Catholic Schools website, the ARPDC Science website, Edmonton Public are all included in there. Okay. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about Edmonton Catholic in a moment. And then Grand Prairie, as you'll see, it's really an extensive collection of links that you might find quite useful to look through. All right. So I hope you can take a moment to look through those in case you didn't have time, whether it be on March 22nd or over the spring break, to glance through some of those, because you may find a bunch of invaluable resources in there, things that you will make lots of use of. There's lots of links. The one that I'd like to notably talk about is my next slide here, and that's the Edmonton Catholic pacing guides. So again, this is a link down here. I didn't create the second picture as a link, but this picture you can take as a link. And as you'll see when we go here, we're able to get ourselves to these pacing guides. And I'll just choose a random pacing guide. We've been kind of ignoring grade 2 or 3. So let's go on to grade 2. So I click on grade 2. I just say I'd like to learn more. And then the most recent ones that they just came out with, does it have the date? No, but they just recently released May and June. So if you are a person who does keep up on these, you can now click on May or June. So let's just take a look as an example on grade 2 May. So when you double click on it, as you can see, talk about the fine print of fine print. What I recommend you do is you download them, open them with Adobe Acrobat or Acrobat Reader, and then you're able to zoom in notably to the column of science, of course. And if you're wanting to take a look, they're putting these out to help teachers in all subject areas. And the key thing here is if you download essentially all 10 of these or the full year one, now what you're able to do is see it almost like a calendar. Okay. In case it's not written in there, I just know from speaking with the person who's in charge of those that they're set to be printed on 24 by 36 paper. I'm not sure how many people have printers of that size, but if you're actually wanting to physically print them out, that is the recommendation. So these are the pacing guides. If you have a moment, I would take some time and to look through these. Maybe you just want to download, now that they have the full year, just download that PDF. And you know what, maybe even by this time next week, maybe I'll insert a link here for the 3 PDF. Look at all this empty space along the side here. I think that's my homework. I'm going to put in 4 links to the 4 full year PDFs just to make things that much easier for you. All right. Okay. Now, lastly, recommendations. The last thing that I'm going to be asking of today is, I love getting recommendations. Some of the emails that I get from you that are so valuable, are emails that start out, hey, we watched a great video on, or my class read a great book. And those are the types of videos and books that I'm putting up on the website so that we can share them with one another. That's really some of the um, greatest way that we can spend our time, is to allow for us to collaborate and share what we've really found as successful material for teaching science K through 3. So if you, instead of like saying to all of you, hey, can you write me a quick email? What I decided to do is I quickly set up 3 similar Google Forms. I'm not going to walk you through all 3 of them, but all you need to do is, if you can think of a book that you used in science, if you take the book recommendation link, I made it so that Google form, you can fill up to 3 recommendations in the Google book recommendation form. So, and if you have 6 or 8 recommendations, you can fill out the form as many times. And I would really appreciate starting to get those books, because after being at our website, and you can see our section on books, videos, and websites, it just makes it that much easier for me to add books, to add videos, to add websites. So on the book, I put 3 recommendations per form. You only need to fill in 1. There's no required amount. The only reason, just as an explanation, is I didn't want the form to look too long, and I needed a bit more info for each video. So there's only 2 videos on that form if you fill it in. And then website went back to 3 recommendations. So if you have some time, what would be most appreciated, I'm speaking on behalf of your colleagues in the year ahead, is if we can share some of our recommendations as we've taught these K through 3 science units. I will get those up on the website, and then we can all see what everybody else is using and what they highly recommend. And of course, that's notable to the living systems unit, as I am still working on that at this time. So bonus marks for that. I'm kidding. Okay, and then lastly, so those are those 3. And hopefully, if you have any other feedback, please feel free to reach out to me. I can quickly I realize I didn't put my email in there, but I'll stick it in there before this actually goes out to you next week. With that said, I hope you can get the most out of your time this morning. And once again, feel free to reach out to me at any time, as I always enjoy answering questions. Have a wonderful Friday, and we'll talk to you soon.